What's up guys, and welcome to another deck concept. Today we're looking at the Igknight Laval deck concept. So there's a lot of firepower here because of the Igknights and the Laval being both fire attributed. This is probably one of the most simplest deck concepts I ever made because it is just 39 monsters and one spell card. The main reason is because I wanted a super heavy samurai tag duel with my friend, but another good reason is, well, maybe not a good reason, but I'll get to it. Of course, the card that inspired me to make this deck is indeed Rekindling. So Rekindling is essentially a soul charge for fire monsters with 200 defense points. Special summon as many of them in your graveyard to your side field as possible, then during your end phase, banish all monsters that were special summoned with this effect. That banish drawback isn't really a drawback because you're gonna synchro with them because, you know, they have a lot of tuner monsters such as Handmaiden, Forest Sprite, Lakeside Lady, and then you're gonna synchro with them and then send them to the graveyard. Then, you know, they're in the graveyard. Then, you know, pull out your other Rekindling from your ban list and then, you know, synchro more. But, you know, this card is at 1 on the ban list, so it's quite difficult to be consistent with Rekindling, but you can technically bring it back in this deck or other decks, right? As well as we got non-tuner Laval monsters that can be brought back with Rekindling. Of course, you gotta make sure they have 200 defense points exactly and they're fire attributed to bring them back with Rekindling. We have even more firepower, such as the Flamevale Fire Dog. It's really slow today, but it's still pretty good if you can actually get its effects off, because it really does help out the deck with its synchro plays. As well as, you know, Flamevale Fire Dog. It's not a Laval, but, you know, turn defense and fire. Good stuff with Rekindling. Same thing with Red Resonator, turn defense with fire attribute. Really convenient because, you know, you can gain some life points if this card is special summoned. As well as this card allows you to special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand when it's normal summon. Really helps out with synchro plays like Fire Dog because you can't really rely on your Pendulum summon 100% because, you know, they could have something set for you. Igknights, they're your main source of synchro plays as well as your non-tuner monsters because they have fire monsters ranging from the levels of 3 to 6. We have Hazy Flame Sphinx. So this card is the second reason why I have my deck designed with 39 monsters and one spell card, being the Rekindling. It is because you need to, once per turn, declare the top card of your deck. If you call it right, monster, spell, or trap, usually you would call it monster because, you know, 39 monster deck. Then you'll send the card to the graveyard, and if you call it right, you special summon a fire monster from your hand or graveyard. Really powerful effect because, you know, you can bring back your tuner monsters, which are all fire in this deck except for, you know, a couple. As well as you can bring back non-tuner monsters as well for possibly more synchro plays or, you know, exceed plays as well. I tried to experiment with Lone Fire with Sphinx, but it didn't work out too well. But, you know, Lone Fire is also fire. As well as we got Laval Lance Lord, so this is level 6. She can be normal summoned without tributing, so that's pretty good for rank 6 plays, as well as, I guess, synchro plays as well. And also, he's a fire warrior monster, and he has a Laval, and he's a Laval name, so that's really good for Handmaiden shenanigans. As well as Igknights can search him out with their pendulum effects. Milling in this deck, we have Molten Conduction Field. Sends 2 Laval monsters from your deck to the graveyard. Really simple effect, you would send a Handmaiden and a Laval monster with a different name other than Handmaiden. So that Handmaiden has a different name, activates effect, sending another Handmaiden into another Handmaiden into another Laval monster. So basically you have 4 monsters in your graveyard ready to go with Rekindling with Molten Conduction Field. We have Laval Dragon, level 6 fire synchro monster that requires non-tuner fire monsters. Really easy in Ignites. Once per turn you can add 1 Laval monster from your deck to your hand, then send 1 Laval monster from your hand to the graveyard. Search out Handmaiden, send the Handmaiden to the graveyard, activate Handmaiden if you have a Laval monster with a different name other than Handmaiden. Then you do the same combo with, you know, Molten Conduction Field essentially, with a Laval Dragon instead. We have Beatrice, the Eternal Lady, because we are playing Ignites, and Ignites have a level 6 Ignite monster, 2 of them of course, Veteran and Gallant, Glove Bulb, Jet Synchron, and Plague Spreader. Basically you use the Beatrice, the Eternal Lady to mill these guys, and then you have a tune monster to work with your Ignite Pendulum monsters for synchro plays. For our combo, you really only need Ignites in your hand, so we'll start off with 5 Ignites. It doesn't really matter which one. So we have Templar, Cavalier, Gallant, Crusader, and Squire. It doesn't matter because you can just search out whatever you're missing with the pendulum effects, so here we go. We have Templar activated and Cavalier activated. Destroy both of them in your pendulum zone to activate their pendulum effects, searching out a fire warrior monster. Laval Lance Lord is a fire warrior monster. We need him specifically because he's a Laval monster name, as well as he's a level 6. We'll activate Gallant and Squire. Destroy both to search out Veteran. Then we'll activate Veteran, and then we'll activate the final Crusader Ignite Pendulum Scale from our hand. Then we Pendulum Summon into Templar, Gallant, Lance Lord, Calvere, and Squire, which we previously destroyed, as well as the Lance Lord we searched out. Then we rank 6 with the Lance Lord into Beatrice, the Eternal Lady. We'll activate Beatrice's effect by detaching the Lance Lord to the graveyard, because we need that Laval name in our graveyard to send a glow up bulb from our deck to the graveyard. Then we'll activate Bulb's effect to send the top card of our deck to the graveyard to special himself back. Then we'll sync 6 using the Calvere as a non-tuner synchro monster into the level 6 Laval Dragon. We'll activate its effect, adding a handmaiden from our deck to our hand, and send her to the graveyard by Dragon's effect as well. Then we'll send another handmaiden because we have the Laval Lance Lord in our graveyard as the other name for handmaiden's effect to go off. Then we'll send a Lakeside Lady perhaps, because level 3 fire tuner monster is not too bad, as well as she has the effect to destroy a set card as well. Then we'll sync 10 using the Templar and the Laval Dragon, because Nirvana High Paladin allows this to use that synchro monster with a Pendulum Summon monster as a tune monster. So Nirvana High Paladin is a skill 8. So basically, if you have like a Veteran and a Crusader from before, you want to destroy their pendulum scales to search out Gallant, because if your opponent does kill Nirvana High Paladin, you'll have that high skill level 8, and your low skill Gallant, which you should technically search out afterwards. As well as Nirvana High Paladin, when it's synchro summoned using a pendulum summoned monster as synchro material, you get to add any card from your graveyard back to your hand, which is where Beatrice and the Rekindling Mill comes in, because Nirvana High Paladin can bring that Rekindling back to your hand, then you have some really crazy plays. And Nirvana High Paladin, you know, if it destroys a opponent's monster by battle, you can half their life points. That's pretty massive. So this is what the Igknight Laval deck looks like. It's a bit extreme because I wanted to challenge myself to make an all-monster deck, except for Rekindling because that's too good to leave out, right? But, you know, all-monster deck challenge for myself, but you could replace a lot of things with spells and traps to make it more viable, because there's a lot of weakness in an all-monster deck, of course. Because you have, like, against back row like Vanity's Emptiness or, you know, Anti-Spell Fragrance, you immediately die from those cards. So, you know, there's a lot of weaknesses, but I guess in a single duel, you can technically luck your way out and win a duel. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a fairly simple concept, and I love it how it's like almost all fire monsters in the main deck. You could just take out like a Plague Spirit and Glow Up Ball, and then bam, all fire it. But anyways, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys later.